2 Samuel chapter 12. But God was not at all pleased with what David had done, and he sent Nathan to David. Nathan said to him, "There were 2 men in the same city, one rich, the other poor. The rich man had huge flocks of sheep, herds of cattle. The poor man had nothing but one little female lamb, which he had bought and raised. It grew up with him and his children as a member of the family. It ate off of his plate and drank from his cup and slept on his bed. It was like a daughter to him. One day, a traveler dropped in on the rich man. He was too stingy to take an animal from his own herds or flocks to make a meal for his visitor, and so he took the poor man's lamb and prepared a meal to set before his guest." David exploded in anger. "As surely as God lives," he said to Nathan, "the man who did this ought to be lynched. He must repay for the lamb 4 times over for his crime and his stinginess." "You're the man," said Nathan, "and here's what God, the God of Israel, has to say to you. I made you king over Israel. I freed you from the fist of Saul. I gave you your master's daughter and other wives to have and to hold. I gave you both Israel and Judah. And if that hadn't been enough, I would have gladly thrown in much more. So why have you treated the word of God with brazen contempt, doing this great evil? You murdered Uriah the Hittite, and then you took his wife as your wife. Worse, you killed him with an Ammonite sword. And now, because you treated God with such contempt and took Uriah the Hittite's wife as your wife, killing and murder will continually plague your family." This is God speaking, remember. "I will make trouble for you out of your own family. I will take your wives from right out in front of you. I will give them some neighbor, and he'll go to bed with them openly. You did your deed in secret. I'm doing mine with the whole country watching." And then David confessed to Nathan, I've sinned. I've sinned against God." Nathan pronounced, "Yes, but that's not the last word. God forgives your sin. You won't die for it. But because of your blasphemous behavior, the son born to you will die." After Nathan went home, God afflicted the child that Uriah's wife bore to David, and he came down sick. David prayed desperately to God for the little boy. He fasted, he wouldn't go out, and he slept on the floor. The elders in his family came in and tried to get him off the floor, but he wouldn't budge, nor could they get him to eat anything. On the 7th day, the child died. David's servants were afraid to tell him. They said, "What do we do now?" While the child was living, he wouldn't listen to a word we said. Now, with the child dead, if we speak to him, there's no telling what he'll do. David noticed that the servants were whispering behind his back, and he realized that the boy must have died. He asked the servants, "Is the boy dead?" "Yes," they answered. "He's dead." David got up from the floor. He washed his face, combed his hair, put on a fresh change of clothes, then went into the sanctuary and worshipped. And then he came home and he asked for something to eat. They set it before him and he ate. His servants asked him, "What is going on with you? While the child was alive, you fasted and wept and stayed up all night. And now that he's dead, you get up and eat." "While the child was alive," he said, "I fasted and wept, thinking that God might have some mercy on me and the child would live. But now that he's dead, why fast? Can I bring him back now? I can go to him, but he can't come to me." David went and comforted his wife Bathsheba, and when he slept with her, they did conceive a son. When he was born, they named him Solomon. God had a special love for him, and he sent word by Nathan the prophet that God wanted him named Jedediah, which means God's beloved. Joab, at war in Rabbah against the Ammonites, captured the royal city. He sent messengers to David saying, "I'm fighting at Rabbah, and I've just captured the city's water supply. Hurry and get the rest of the troops together and set up camp here at the city and complete the capture yourself. Otherwise, I'll capture it and get all the credit instead of you." Excuse me. And so David, he marshaled all the troops. He went to Rabbah and fought and captured it. He took the crown from their king's head, with very heavy with gold and with a precious stone in it. It ended up on David's head. And they plundered the city, carrying off a great quantity of loot. David emptied the city of its people and put them to slave labor, using saws, picks, and axes, and making bricks. He did this to all of the Ammonite cities. And then David and the whole army returned to Jerusalem.